Hey y'all, this is Allison hanging out in my space to craft, and I wanted to do the next page that I had lined up for my Christmas journal, and that was the Derek Huff Christmas Dance Spectacular. I don't know what the formal name of it was, but my mom and I went to see it with some friends of hers mid-December. It was a fabulous show. It was pretty funny. She had no idea who Derek Huff was. I mean, she had no idea what kind of show we were going to. And I jumped at the chance when one of her friends couldn't go. I decided not to double mat this photo. I like the contrast with this black and white snowflake paper from Vicki Boutin. I did look at maybe matting it with the teal. It just didn't add anything. It reduced the contrast for everything, so I'm gonna keep it simple here on top. I had also pulled out this bow from Vicki Boutin, but it needed some teal behind it. So what I decided to do is turn it into my journal box and put a bow across the bottom, and then that will give me a base for some embellishments and a title, and then plenty of space for journaling. Since this is a journal album, I need to be writing on each page about things. So I had already pulled this page. Didn't take me long at all. I had already pulled these papers even before I went on vacation. And so I think it took me 20 minutes. Now, what I'd like you guys to do is comment if you would prefer to have seen this 20 minutes in real time with my talking as I did the page, because I did say most of this as I was scrapbooking it, or if you prefer this slightly sped up. I've only sped this up at 2 times speed with the voice overlay. I'd really like to get your feedback on that as I go forward with more and more videos. If you would like a variety of things, some in real time, some sped up, or if you just want to get through things more quickly and always see things sped up, please comment below. I'm very curious for your feedback. So I'm really liking this. It looks a little bit like a package, and it gives me plenty of journaling space. And then it's time to embellish, and that's what I spend most of my time on. So you can see I'm sitting here thinking I'm going to put the title across here. And then I start looking at options, and really it was a problem of too many good options, and I didn't stop at the first decent option. I kept looking. So I thought about adding a big pop of red. In the end, I decided against that. I felt like it was a little too jarring, if you will. That says "Let It Snow." I live near Houston. It does not snow here. We did go to some snow vacations when my daughter was little, so I'll use some snow things for some of those vacations, but for the most part, I don't get to do snow. Oh, sorry, my dogs are outside barking. I don't get to do snow videos, but scrapbook pages. So I'm looking at this thing that says "Joy to the World" with a little bit of red, and that's where I sort of end up. And I knew I had some green snowflakes in the floral paper pack that I'm using for this journal. And I think that's what I settle on, is a little pop of red and some green snowflakes that perfectly match, even though it's from different manufacturers, perfectly match the papers, the Vicki Boutin papers. So I'm just looking for a few other things. I would have liked to have found a little ticket. I did not find, I just found this pink ticket. I didn't want to introduce pink. I found this one that said joy on it, that looked like a ticket. Since it was a show that we had tickets to, you get the picture. I have one more show that we went to see right before Christmas. We went to Handel's Messiah with the symphony, and there's a whole story associated with that. And so maybe I'll have to get out my ticket die cut to make some tickets for that one. So I apologize, you guys. That knocking sound you heard in the background was my gluttonous dog obsessively licking her bowl and knocking it around. She's very food obsessed. So I had to restart my audio. So I'm just digging around looking for another little piece of red to go at the top, because I have that little red and white stripe tag at the bottom. The problem I was having is everything had the same word on it. So that ticket says joy. These two things, one says joyful, one says joy. That's not going to be right. So I find this little one and I decide that is going to be the ticket. Well, not the ticket, the wordy bit. So I am going to trim that out and fishtail it. And I think that I'm happy with that. And I'm going to commit these items down. So I decide not to use dimensional adhesive on any of this ephemera. Like I normally pop some things up on larger scrapbook pages, but I feel that in the smaller pocket pages, the dimension makes a bigger difference in the cover. So the page protector. So I tend not to do it. I do end up using some pretty dimensional adhesive brads on this page, but it is what it is. I wanted to use the pretty things, but I keep everything pretty flat. Excuse me. And here's where this had some rounded ends, so I'm just straightening off the end and then fishtailing it. I just thought the rounded ends, sort of the long oval, looked a little weird with the more angular things that were on the page. And then I realized that I hadn't really inked everything. Thank goodness for repositionable adhesive. And I use the scrapbook.com repositional adhesive. I find it's reasonably priced. It's easy to use. I'm not having issues with it sticking. At least not so far. I'll keep you posted on that if I do end up with the issues. I'd hate to have to go back through all my pages and do something, but I'm a slave to repositioning. I move things around so much. If it was not repositionable, I would have a real issue with it. I used to always use the Creative Memories repositionable adhesive, and it's great. And it does, excuse me, turn permanent after a while. So I think about using this red, and again, it's a little too jarring with what I was going for. So then I have these Cartabella adhesive brads, and they're so beautiful. And they had just the right kind of color green, like a silvery green on here. So I decided to use that. I do make an adjustment. I put one, so I'm trying to decide where they go, and I'm going to, one is in the little hole of that tag, and then I'm going to move this snowflake so I can get to the center of the snowflake and put one in the center of that snowflake. And I decide I want to do the same thing up top. Just shift it up so I can get to that center of the snowflake. Since I'm not doing, you know, clusters of 3 of these, I wanted them to have some purpose. And I do think about adding some of these little red stars, since Derek Huff is quite a star. But I decided against it. I didn't like the look of it. Nope, not going to work. And I think that's it. Please give this video a thumbs up and come back. I have a, I think my next page is a 12 by 12 Christmas page. And I've got more journal pages to do as well. I've got to catch up from December. Thanks a lot, you guys.